What if Hollywood's most glamorous mansions were hiding secrets no amount of money could erase? Behind gated estates and perfect facades are homes tied to chilling reports, sudden sell-offs, owners who flee without explanation, and stories the industry works hard to keep quiet. Rumors suggest that when fame ends suddenly or tragically, something lingers behind. Tonight, we're uncovering 10 celebrity mansions linked to disturbing encounters, whispered cover-ups, and secrets that refuse to stay buried. And it begins with a house so unsettling that even a rock legend allegedly ran from it in fear. Ozzy Osbourne, When the Prince of Darkness Ran. When Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne bought their Beverly Hills mansion in the 1980s, they believed it was the perfect rock star retreat. Instead, according to Sharon's public accounts, the house quickly revealed something far more disturbing. Sharon reported seeing a woman in 1940s clothing repeatedly walk through their bedroom wall, pause beside the bed, and disappear again. The figure wore a pearl necklace and never acknowledged her presence. What began as isolated encounters soon escalated. During filming for the Osbournes' reality show, crew members allegedly refused to stay in certain rooms. Cameras shut off without warning. Audio equipment failed repeatedly in the same areas. Some staff later claimed the atmosphere inside the house felt overwhelmingly heavy. The breaking point reportedly came during a dinner party when guests watched plates lift off the table and smash against the walls with no one nearby. Sharon later admitted she had hidden similar incidents for months. Adding to the fear were reports that several previous owners had died under unexplained circumstances, details the Osbournes say they weren't told beforehand. Not long after, the family moved out. If a man who built his image around darkness couldn't stay, it begged one unsettling question. What was really living there? Judy Garland, a voice that never left. Judy Garland's final home was a modest townhouse in London's Chelsea district, far removed from Hollywood's spotlight. After her death in 1969, from what was officially ruled an accidental OD, the property quietly became something no one wanted to keep for long. According to reports shared over the years, the first disturbances began almost immediately. Garland's husband at the time allegedly heard her voice late at night, softly singing "Over the Rainbow" from the bathroom where she died. At first, he dismissed it as grief, but the singing didn't stop. Later owners described far more unsettling experiences. Mirrors would fog over regardless of temperature, with condensation forming words linked to Garland's most famous line, "No place like home." One resident reportedly hired paranormal investigators after 3 months of unexplained activity, claiming the house felt emotionally suffocating. Investigators allegedly captured audio that sounded like Garland crying rather than singing, calling out for her children. Another short-term resident claimed every electronic device in the house turned on simultaneously at exactly 12:17 a.m., the time authorities estimated Garland passed away. The townhouse has changed hands repeatedly since, often after brief stays. Those familiar with its history say it isn't fear that drives people out, but overwhelming sadness. Like the house is still mourning someone who never truly found peace. Lucille Ball. The warning hidden in the walls. Lucille Ball spent her life making the world laugh, but according to long circulating rumors, her former Beverly Hills estate carried a far more anxious energy after her death in 1989. The house was sold quickly, and that's when the stories allegedly began. Sources claim the new owner, a powerful music executive, planned an extensive renovation, but abandoned the project within 6 months. Friends later said he left behind furniture, personal belongings, and a strict legal silence. What drove him out was never officially stated. According to reports, the activity centered around what had once been Lucille's private dressing room. Equipment brought into the space malfunctioned repeatedly. EMF readings allegedly spiked without explanation, and recording devices picked up a woman's voice repeating a single phrase, "Don't let them find it." The most unsettling incident reportedly involved the owner's teenage daughter, who hosted friends at the house one evening. Multiple witnesses claimed Lucille appeared briefly in the living room, not as she looked at the end of her life, but as a younger version from her television prime. She gestured urgently toward one wall before vanishing. When that wall was examined, a hidden compartment was allegedly discovered containing documents tied to Lucille's private life and career. Shortly after those materials were removed by the family, the activity stopped completely. Some believe it wasn't a haunting meant to frighten, but a final attempt to protect her legacy. Marilyn Monroe, Sadness in the Skyline, Manhattan Penthouse. While most people associate Marilyn Monroe's final days with her Brentwood home, rumors suggest she maintained a secret penthouse in Manhattan's Upper East Side, a private escape from Hollywood that later became infamous for unexplained activity. According to reports, Monroe purchased the apartment under an assumed name just months before her death. After she passed, the penthouse quietly cycled through owners, many of them entertainment insiders, each staying only briefly. What drove them out was never officially disclosed. Several former residents allegedly reported finding Monroe's signature written in red lipstick on bathroom mirrors, her name signed exactly as it appeared on autographs. Others claimed to hear a woman crying through air vents or calling out for help late at night, with no source ever identified. Building staff have anonymously described elevators stopping on her floor without being summoned, and the persistent scent of Chanel No. 5 drifting through empty hallways. One owner reportedly documented seeing a woman resembling Monroe standing near the windows in a white dress, staring out at the city in silence. Some believe the activity intensifies whenever new theories about Monroe's death resurface, leading to speculation that her spirit is trying to draw attention to unanswered questions surrounding her final days. Elvis Presley, the King's Secret Retreat. While Graceland is famous for reported paranormal activity, rumors suggest Elvis Presley kept a far more private retreat hidden in the Hollywood Hills, one that few people even knew existed. According to longtime insiders, this house was Elvis's escape during his most troubled years, a place he visited when fame became too heavy. After Elvis died in 1977, the property quietly passed between owners connected to the entertainment industry. Not long after, strange reports began to surface. Residents claimed they heard live singing late at night, not recordings, but a voice echoing through the halls, performing songs Elvis never officially released. Visitors unfamiliar with the house's history allegedly described seeing a man in a white jumpsuit standing at the top of the stairs before vanishing. Studio equipment in a converted music room was said to turn on by itself, capturing faint vocal sounds that resembled Elvis's speaking voice reacting to modern music. What makes the stories more unsettling are claims from people who worked closely with Elvis during his life. Some have privately said the presence in this house felt more like him than anything they'd experienced at Graceland. A few even believe Elvis's spirit appears as a warning. Witnesses report seeing him gesture toward medication bottles or specific parts of the body before fading away, leading to speculation that the king may be trying to stop others from repeating his tragic mistakes. Sharon Tate, the house she left behind. Most people associate Sharon Tate's tragedy with the infamous Cielo Drive home, but few know about the Benedict Canyon house she lived in before moving there. According to friends, Tate experienced disturbing feelings in this earlier residence, unease she struggled to explain at the time. After her death, the Benedict Canyon property was sold quickly. The new owners allegedly began seeing a blonde woman wandering the halls, often near the bedroom Tate once used. Guests reported mirrors reflecting figures that didn't match who was standing there, with Tate's image appearing frightened, as if trying to warn them. There's been quiet buzz for years that members of Tate's family were aware of the activity. One relative reportedly visited once and refused to return, allegedly saying Sharon's presence felt unfinished. Paranormal investigators, later brought in under confidentiality agreements, claimed the activity responded intelligently to questions. The house has changed hands multiple times, with owners rarely staying long. Neighbors have reported lights moving inside when the home was meant to be empty, and sightings of a woman in 1960s clothing standing at the windows. Some believe Tate's spirit remains tied to places where she once felt safe, unable to move on after a life cut brutally short. John Belushi. When laughter turned dark. John Belushi's Hollywood Hills home was meant to be a refuge at the height of his fame, but according to long-time whispers, it became something far more troubling after his death in 1982. Those close to him later said the house always carried a strange, heavy energy, even when Belushi was alive. After his passing, new owners reportedly began hearing Belushi's unmistakable laugh echoing through empty rooms. But it wasn't joyful. Witnesses described it as slow, distorted, and followed by long stretches of silence that felt deeply unsettling. During gatherings, guests allegedly saw a figure resembling Belushi briefly appear in the living room, reenacting moments from his comedy routines before dissolving into mist. Others claimed objects moved on their own whenever substances were brought into the house, as if something was reacting. One owner, a comedy writer, said Belushi's presence seemed almost warning in nature, appearing during moments of excess, then vanishing. Security cameras installed years later reportedly captured doors opening and shadows moving with no one inside. Those familiar with the house say Belushi's spirit doesn't feel angry, but trapped, replaying the moments that made him famous, while painfully aware of how it all ended. Whitney Houston. When the voice wouldn't fade. Whitney Houston's former estate in New Jersey was meant to be a fresh start, but according to reports, the house carried an emotional weight that never fully lifted after her death in 2012. The property was sold quickly, yet peace didn't come with the new owners. Not long after moving in, the family allegedly began hearing Whitney's voice echoing through the house. Clear, powerful, and unmistakable. It wasn't music playing from speakers. Witnesses described live singing that seemed to come from empty rooms, often late at night. The activity reportedly intensified when the owner's teenage daughter, an aspiring singer, began practicing in the same room Whitney once used as a recording space. She claimed her voice suddenly reached notes she'd never hit before, but said it felt like someone else was guiding her. The experience left her shaken rather than inspired. During a charity event at the estate, multiple guests allegedly heard Whitney's vocals harmonizing with her own recordings after the sound system activated by itself. Paranormal investigators later claimed electromagnetic spikes were strongest in rooms tied to her music. Some believe Whitney's spirit isn't trying to frighten anyone, but is forever bound to the one thing she never lost, her voice. Michael Jackson. The Hidden Sanctuary. While Neverland Ranch gets most of the attention, rumors suggest Michael Jackson kept a far more private retreat hidden in the Hollywood Hills, a place where he felt truly safe. According to insiders, this property was his real creative sanctuary, and some believe his presence never left. Staff members who worked there during Jackson's lifetime claimed strange things happened even before his death. They reported hearing his voice, practicing vocals in empty rooms, and seeing his reflection in mirrors when he wasn't on the property. After 2009, those experiences allegedly intensified. Security systems reportedly captured footage of a figure moving through the house with Jackson's unmistakable posture and walk. A music executive who toured the home after Jackson's death claimed he heard unreleased songs being performed live in the private studio, with no visible source. Children who have visited the property described seeing a nice man who dances matching Jackson's thriller-era appearance. Investigators brought in under confidentiality agreements allegedly documented instruments playing on their own and sound equipment activating in rhythm with his music. Those connected to the house say the energy doesn't feel dark or hostile, more like creativity that refused to disappear, as if Michael never truly stopped performing. Marilyn Monroe, the house that refused to stay silent. Topping every list is Marilyn Monroe's Brentwood home, the place most associated with her death in 1962. Officially, the modest house was demolished decades ago. Unofficially, many believe whatever remained there never left. Early owners reportedly described hearing cries at night, finding pill bottles that vanished moments later, and seeing a woman resembling Monroe pacing the bedroom where she was found. Psychics later claimed Monroe's spirit appeared distressed, repeatedly insisting she didn't choose to end her life, though these claims remain unverified and highly disputed. When the house was torn down in the 1970s, construction workers allegedly reported sudden cold spots, equipment failures, and the feeling of being watched. A new home built on the site in the 1980s didn't escape the stories. Residents later described Monroe appearing during gatherings, pointing angrily at certain guests before disappearing. In 2017, the home was demolished again, officially for redevelopment. Insiders, however, quietly suggested the activity had made the property unlivable. Today's owners remain anonymous, protected by legal layers, and are said to have hired historians, investigators, and paranormal specialists. Witnesses claim Monroe's spirit still appears confused, emotional, and determined, as if bound to the site by a truth she never got to tell. And in Hollywood, that may be the most unsettling haunting of all, the real cost of haunted fame. What makes these stories unsettling isn't just the whispers of spirits or unexplained encounters. It's the pattern that keeps repeating. These homes sell below value, change hands rapidly, and sit empty far longer than any luxury property ever should. In a city where real estate is everything, that alone raises questions. Some believe these mansions absorbed moments of intense fame, pressure, and tragedy. Others say they're simply mirrors of the lives lived inside them. None of these accounts have been officially confirmed, yet the consistency of the stories keeps them alive, passed quietly between agents, owners, and insiders. Hollywood is built on illusion, reinvention, and control of the narrative. But these homes suggest some stories refuse to be rewritten or erased. So the next time you pass through Hollywood's wealthiest neighborhoods, remember, behind those gates may be secrets no amount of money could silence. Which story surprised you the most? Do you think these spirits are holding on to unfinished business, or are these legends born from fame itself? Let us know your thoughts. And if you want more of Hollywood's buried secrets, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay curious.